Hello, welcome to the Northern Dawah Project. Today's topic is going to be about children. I'm sure you know all about it because you were once a child yourself, and I'm still a child. So basically, what we're talking about is should we educate our children about our traditions? Should we let the society decide, or should we do a combination? How can we help children? Now, I'm joined by my fellow esteemed guest, fellow Northern Line member, and who's going to give some of his input as well. So, Northern Line, hello.
Hello there.
So, have you got any children?
No, not at the moment.
Would you like some?
Oh, yes, definitely.
How many would you like if you had a choice?
Well, in today's society, I think we can only cope with two or three children. That's it. We can't cope with
All right.
more than three.
Well, what if you get married to somebody that wants, a cricket team, a football team, 10, 11,
Mhm.
or how do you compromise, or do you not compromise?
No, I'd compromise, but then get another wife.
You'd seriously think that what if she wanted 10 as well?
Uh, then I'll get another wife.
And what if it keeps going and you get really unlucky?
Oh, then I'll probably uh, mm, finish myself.
Finish yourself. So that's going to solve the population
Yeah.
problem, isn't it?
No, but I think in today's honestly, I think in today's society, no one can cope with more than three kids.
Why have you come up with that number three? Is that a magic number or is it just your
No,
favorite?
no, it's just a odd number. It's
Is that how many?
I'm
Is
not,
it coincidence? That's how many people you can get in a car because of wife and three children.
yeah, because nowadays you can't afford a big house more than three bedrooms or a big car more than five seats. But to be honest, when you bring up a family, you've got to understand how to bring them up. If you can't cope with, you know, even two, then cope with one. If you can't cope with one, then don't cope with anything.
No, that's a good point.
But
But the
in
only
eh, but in Islam, because in Islamic tradition, to fulfill your religion, you've got to get married, and to spread the knowledge and say, for instance, your knowledge or your hierarchy or your empire, you've got to get kids so that they can, you know, they can carry that on, after I've gone. So sharing knowledge and then getting them to understand about society is it needs to be balanced.
so you're
You've
saying
got
it's a lot easier. It's a lot
say that
easier. Three children. If it's 10, it's harder.
yeah, it is
Yeah,
honestly it
that's
is.
more down to the society, the environment. I take it.
But to be honest, you don't want to have 10 kids because the thing is, in today's society, everything's so locked onto technology, and people are so embarked on, oh, the technology, let's make money online, and, more focus on making money in life. But in religion, in our Islam, it's about, making sure that our inner soul or
Yeah.
spiritual needs are intact, so we understand, you know, where we're going, the ultimate goal. What's the ultimate goal? What is the ultimate goal? Let me ask you a question. What do you think the ultimate goal is?
The ultimate goal is life beyond death, meeting your creator
Yeah.
in a positive light, I guess, for
And
whatever better.
how can we do that?
Well, in the simplest sense, is to have faith,
Yeah.
have clear faith, and then carry that faith with actions as well.
And
I
then,
think,
mm,
I mean,
right.
that's what I would think. I mean, the actions are quite simple, I think, is to be sincere in what you do, is to be regular
Mm.
in what you do, to be realistic as well, and in a way, have one foot in this world and one foot in the hereafter, because with
Yeah, but
every action,
what if you can't have a balanced life? What if something's interacting or something's blocking you from having a balanced life? What would you do about it?
that's going to always going to happen. There are always going to be negative, evil forces, and that is basically what makes us human. Having all these struggles and still trying to find our way, even when we get lost multiple times. But you just don't give up. I
Yeah.
mean, the choice is to give up and to say, look, this is too much for me. And the prophets didn't give up. The people throughout history, rich people, poor people, intelligent people, people not so intelligent, a lot of them didn't give up.
Mm.
So it's no excuse. You still have to try, even if right down to your last breath. And I think the trying, again, with sincerity is probably the most important part here. That you are trying to lead a better life, that you do
Yeah,
see a light in the distance and you're trying to walk towards it. Or sometimes you could even crawl towards it. Some people
yeah,
find they can run towards it, but either you're going in that direction. And if you die in that process, I think that process, after you die, you'll be rewarded because
mm.
you were heading in the
So,
right direction.
so in your views, how can you like continue your legacy or your knowledge? Or what would you do? Have you got kids?
Yeah, Marshall, I've got 4 children, two
Okay,
daughters and 2 boys. So I've exceeded your target of 3.
mashallah, mashallah. So
So,
how you coping with that?
well, I have a kid from a previous marriage, so I've got 3 with me, and I'll be honest with you, as I say, I'm hanging up my boots. Uh, but you never, you can never say never. I'm a
You
great
never
believer.
say that.
If
So,
somebody else comes along, then you shouldn't see it in terms of materialistic needs as well,
yeah,
because you shouldn't think, oh, it's going to be an extra mouth to feed and be so negative. Because sometimes a child can come along and your circumstances could change for the better at that time
yeah,
anyway. And
yeah.
also, I think it's rather material. There's a lot more to raising a child. I mean, children ask for material things, toys and things, but really deep down, they want to spend time with you. They want somebody that loves them, that values them, and also you have to discipline them as
Yeah.
well.
So where's the limit?
Limit. I mean, I don't know. I think your lifespan is your limit. You just carry on until your
No.
time.
When you've got kids, where do you know? How do you know the limit's met?
I'll be honest with you. You'll only really know when they're older, because if you imagine kids have been a fruit, even at any tree, the fruit, whether it turns out bitter or it rots, it's only when it's ripe you really know what you've got.
So
While this, it's very hard to predict how they're going to turn out, but you do put the foundation in. You
yeah,
do make sure that there is a foundation there, that there is a distinction between right and wrong.
yeah,
But I definitely think you have to set yourself as a good example.
yeah.
It's absolutely pointless talking about things and
So
mentioning things. It might help, but if you don't set an example, uh, you have to lead by example.
yeah, lead by an example.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what about yourself, Ali? I mean, you've
I've got
obviously.
another question. I've got one more question.
Sorry, sorry.
I was gonna say, at what age do you teach your kids?
I
At
think
what age? At what age
I think
generally?
as soon as they
What
come out
age?
of the.
Sorry. In other terms, at what age generally would you teach your kid, and would they become an adult?
I think the way children are, as soon as they're born, they're getting taught anyway. They're picking up cues from the environment. They're already picking up all the signals. They'll know if they're in a negative household. They'll know if they're in a positive household. They'll know, and then it'll reflect in their behavior even when they're babies. And a baby that's, for instance, cuddled, it's held up, it's loved, there's people around it, will start turning out differently to a child that's neglected. And there are studies that are done where kids that have been ignored and they've looked at them and they start misbehaving or crying or not really learning as much as children that have got a lot of sensory
Mm.
uh, awareness around them, where there are adults that are interrelating with them and um, basically giving them lots of love, talking to
So
them.
so interacting with your kids at the end.
Yeah, yeah. And as soon as they're born,
Yeah,
I think the first couple of months are probably more important than people think. I
yeah,
haven't got any empirical evidence, but that's when everything's getting formed. Certainly, if you're gonna be mothers in a lot of stress, fathers away from home. I mean, obviously, sometimes it has to be done, and the child's feeling that. That child will probably end up going that way towards having an outlook on life that they might not trust adults that much.
yeah, yeah. No, when you were talking about, sorry, just moments before about when a kid grows up, they'd be learning a lot from society. What if they pick up something, that you don't want? Wouldn't you better off teaching the kids at the start?
I think in today's society that's normal. You have to expect that they're going to come home with things they're
No,
going to
but
do.
would they not ask questions?
Well, I
You
think they
might
should
not be
be
able
able
to
to
answer.
answer. I mean, as long as you've got a good answer. I mean, don't forget, a lot of children don't want to ask questions because maybe the parents don't like
Yeah,
the sort of conversation or the environment as such. They don't feel comfortable. I mean, it's not easy asking questions as well. You could ask superficial questions, but it depends on
mm,
your parents as well. I mean, again, if your parents are open,
yeah,
they're not scared to talk to you about things, they encourage you to talk, then you will ask a lot more questions. But if it is a question that you're asking a question and then you don't really get a satisfactory response, or the impression that the child's given is that they're just interfering in their parents' lives, those children may well become withdrawn, and they'll go out into
yeah,
society to seek answers, and they'll inevitably meet the wrong type of people.
yeah. No, no, you're right. You're right.
I mean, we all
To be
want.
honest, say that again.
I said we all, every child wants to be loved. They're born that way. I think every child wants to be in a loving environment. That's why when you pick up a baby, they smile at you. They really
Yeah.
give you this
No,
warm,
no.
no,
Yeah. Yeah. At the end
sweet
of
and that
end of
effect. But you always get the sense that they're designed to grab your attention so that
yeah,
you can give things. And in response, they'll smile even though there is no language. You don't understand
yeah,
vocabulary, but there is a deeper language where it's something really heart to heart. I don't know, but you do sense it that children communicate very, very early,
yeah,
and it's non-verbal language, but it's communication, and it's important to be part of that communication.
yeah,
I mean, for instance,
yeah.
you
You're
probably
right.
know
I
how
mean,
difficult it is. And how difficult is it to learn a foreign language? I mean, I'm trying to learn a bit of Turkish, and I tried for a couple of months, and
yeah,
it's very difficult. And yet, a child can start to learn a language by the age of 2, 3, and once about
yeah.
5 or 6, they can have,
Yeah. They pick it
and they,
up.
they have formal learning. They pick it up from the environment. No one really teaches them in the
Yeah, yeah.
classrooms,
They pick it up from the
but
environment.
they'll know so much, And you find this with second generation children where the
Yeah,
parents might be from another country, and they'll only grasp a few words of the language,
yeah,
but the children will not only have fluency, they'll actually adapt to the local dialects. So if it's
mm,
in Manchester, they'll speak in a Mancunian way. If they're London, they'll have a
yeah,
London accent. And no one teaches them that. It's just that's how
yeah.
much they observe things around.
No, 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 Northern Wolf. Uh,
Yes.
uh, Thank you for inviting me. But at the moment, right now, I will be back on shortly, if that's okay.
Okay. I hope you take this time to think about
Reflect.
marriage,
Yeah, no, no, I'm
reflect.
reflecting. I've got a few more questions, but when I do come on, I will.
And I've got some questions for you as well.
We will get back to this.
You know, whilst you're single, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because we
No worries. No worries. You take care.
thank you very much. Those
I'll
on
see you
the line.
shortly.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye bye.
See you. Bye.
That was my guest, Northern Line. Had a nice conversation about children, and to be honest, I'm still learning.